So last weekend, my family got together at my grandpa's house for our usual Sunday lunch, which is always a riot because grandpa has about 4 stories he likes to rotate depending on his mood and the weather. This time, though, he kept interrupting himself to tilt his head and squint suspiciously at the ceiling, like the world's most skeptical meerkat. At first, we thought he was just trying to remember if he'd already told us about the time he almost met Frank Sinatra. Spoiler, he saw someone in a hat at the airport, but then he started asking if we'd heard the baby. We all kind of looked at each other, because as far as I know, the only baby in Grandpa's house is the one in my cousin's Instagram stories. But Grandpa insisted, no, he could hear a baby, and it was crying. It's crying and saying something about milk, he said, looking genuinely spooked. My mom said it was probably just the wind, and my brother said maybe Grandpa's stomach was growling in Morse code, but Grandpa was adamant. He even tried to bribe my little sister to go exorcise the nursery, which sounds like code for take out the recycling, but apparently, he meant it literally. By dessert, Grandpa was getting pretty agitated. He kept turning his hearing aid up and down, and every now and then he'd jump and mutter, "There it goes again," wailing for milk. Eventually, we pieced it together. Grandpa's new hearing aid, which he'd bragged about being top of the line, was picking up the neighbor's baby monitor. The real kicker was that he'd been listening in on their 3 a.m. feeding sessions all week, convinced his house was being haunted by the world's neediest poltergeist. When we explained it to him, he was both relieved and mildly disappointed. Apparently, he was preparing to sell the house to Zach Baggins. But honestly, I should have known something was up when Grandpa started referring to his living room as the crying room and asked if we could get the ghost a bottle of formula. At least now when he says he's hearing things, we know it's not all in his head, it's just across the fence and wants a pacifier. I guess you could say the real spirit haunting Grandpa was infant Ray interference.